You've thought about it before, haven't you? Late at night, in that quiet moment when everything slows down, what happens? To them, the cruel, the violent, the ones who seem completely disconnected from empathy, do they get punished? Do they disappear? Do they face something beyond this life? But here's the question you've been avoiding. Why does this thought disturb you so much? Because it's not really about them, it's about you, about justice, about fear, about the uncomfortable possibility that the line between good and evil is not as clear as you want it to be. We like to believe in categories: good people, bad people, heroes, villains. It makes the world feel stable, predictable, safe, but history tells a different story. There's a moment in every human life where choice meets pressure, and what you do in that moment, that's where things begin too. Philosopher Hannah Arendt once described something deeply unsettling while observing one of history's most infamous war criminals. She called it the banality of evil. Not monstrous hatred, not dramatic cruelty, but something far more ordinary. A man who followed orders, who didn't question, who didn't think deeply about the consequences of his actions. He wasn't a raging villain, he was normal. And that's what terrified her, because it meant that evil doesn't always come from darkness. Sometimes it comes from absence of thought, absence of awareness, absence of responsibility. Now pause for a moment. How often do you act without thinking? How often do you follow patterns without questioning them? How often do you avoid difficult truths because they're uncomfortable? This isn't about comparing yourself to extreme cases. It's about recognizing a pattern. The same mechanism on a smaller scale exists in all of U.S., and this is where the question of what happens after death becomes something deeper, because maybe it's not about punishment. Maybe it's about confrontation. Let me explain. Imagine living an entire life avoiding self-reflection, ignoring the consequences of your actions, suppressing guilt, denying responsibility, numbing awareness. And then suddenly, there's no distraction left. No noise. No escape. No external world to hide behind. Only you. And everything you've done, everything you've avoided, everything you refuse to see. That in itself is a kind of reckoning, not imposed from the outside, but arising from within. Plato believed that the soul carries its own weight, that justice isn't just something enforced externally, but something embedded in the structure of being. In other words, you don't escape yourself. Now consider this. What if the greatest consequence of a life lived without awareness is not external punishment, but internal realization? Seeing clearly for the first time the full impact of your actions. Not as an abstract idea, but as something deeply felt, every moment, every choice, every harm. Not filtered, not justified, just real. That's not a comfortable thought, because it suggests something radical, that evil is not just about what people do, but about how disconnected they are from what they do. And that disconnection, it's not rare. It exists in everyday life. When you ignore someone's pain, when you act out of anger without reflection. When you justify something you know isn't right. These are small moments, but they come from the same root. Lack of awareness. Nietzsche warned that when people stop questioning themselves, they become dangerous. not necessarily to others, but to truth itself, because without reflection, anything can be justified, and once justification replaces awareness, there's no limit. Now, this doesn't mean all harm is equal, or that consequences don't matter in the real world, but it does point to something deeper. The real divide isn't between good people and evil people. It's between those who are aware and those who are not, those who confront themselves and those who avoid it. So when you ask what happens after death, maybe the more important question is, what's happening before it? Are you aware of your actions? Do you reflect on your choices? Do you take responsibility for who you're becoming? Or are you drifting, reacting, avoiding? Because if awareness is the key, then the process doesn't start after death. It starts now. Every moment you choose to look honestly at yourself. Every time you resist the urge to justify. Every time you pause instead of reacting, that's where something changes. Bonhoeffer spoke about a kind of moral collapse that happens when people stop thinking for themselves, when they surrender their responsibility to question, to reflect, to remain conscious. And once that happens, they can participate in things they would have once rejected, not because they're inherently evil, but because they've stopped being present. So maybe the real danger isn't becoming a villain. It's becoming unconscious, because unconsciousness doesn't feel dangerous. It feels normal. Until you look back and realize what it allowed. This is the uncomfortable truth. You are always becoming something. Not in dramatic leaps, but in small, quiet choices. And those choices shape not just your life, but your relationship with yourself. So when you wonder about the fate of others, don't stop there. Turn the question inward. What would it mean to face yourself completely, without distraction, without justification, without escape? Would you recognize who you've become? Would you accept it? Or would that be the moment you finally see what you spent your life avoiding? Because maybe the real question isn't what happens to evil people after death. Maybe it's this: what happens to any of us if we never truly face ourselves at all?